So, welcome to lesson number 2 with your host, Ben Malal. As you already know, I'm not going to go into a big intro again. We're just going to dive right into it. Now, another question that I get asked a lot and is probably a big concern to a lot of people that are probably going into e-commerce, or if it's a newcomer or somebody that's been around for a while, is they always ask, will Facebook ads die? Or even the funniest thing that I hear a lot is Facebook ads dead? So I really want to touch on that point, because coming in with a mindset of this tool or this skill that I'm going to learn is going to die soon is not a good mindset to have. And I want to convince you why Facebook ads is such a big opportunity and why it's a necessity almost for every single business. So first of all, look at this chart. This is the Facebook user base growth chart. And as you can see, this is all the way to Q4 2016. You can see this consistent growth. Now, I couldn't find a 2017-2018 chart, but most likely it's continuing to grow. At Q4 2016, Facebook had a 1.86 billion user base, which it just continues to grow, as you can see here. And it's just pretty stable growth. Now, it's going to continue to grow. Again, unless Facebook just go bankrupt or something terrible happens, it's going to continue to grow. Now, I do put Facebook and Instagram under the same umbrella, just so you know. Facebook, again, I do believe Facebook will continue growing no matter what, but there is a possibility that Facebook will die out and Instagram will grow. But that does not matter to you, because Facebook ads is Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Okay, so I just wanted to put that premise out there. Now, with Facebook user base growing, there is a consequence to that as well, okay? Which is Facebook's revenue growth grows as well, which is essentially the amount of ad spend, the amount of ads that are actually going into Facebook. Now, there is more advertisers coming in a faster pace than users actually coming in. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This number just shows you how much people are spending on ads. And as you can see, it's a very, very huge growth, and it's actually a faster growth in the users, which means there is an influx of advertisers against users. And again, this is up until 2016. Both of these are up until 2016. But as well, don't forget that the more Facebook grows, the more placements they actually release and the more opportunities we actually have to advertise. So essentially, yes, demand is growing, but supply is growing as well. So essentially, there is still more advertisers coming in than users, but the supply is growing as well. So don't think that there's going to be essentially a saturation point where nobody can make money, because there's always going to be a balanced playing field, in a way at least. But I'm not gonna lie, yes, Facebook ads was easier 2, 3, 4 years ago. Okay, it was a new market. Ads were much cheaper. It was much easier to get a purchase. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say that it's the same thing. It is harder. It was easier a few years ago, but that doesn't matter. Because the thing is that any new trend or any new marketing channel or anything new that happens in the market will always be essentially new in the first few years, and then it will get hard. Harder, not hard, but now the question you got to ask yourself is, does that even matter? Because if we're playing the long-term game, then we have to accumulate to these changes and basically learn with them. And that's the main point here, because there's nothing that exists in the world where you go into it and it's just like easy until the end of life, because everything new that comes out, if it's a marketing channel, a new product, a new offer or whatever, it's always going to start off easy, and then it's going to, not even easy, but easier than what it is now, and it's going to slowly be harder and harder because saturation always comes in. So unless you want to jump from trend to trend, then you want to actually master these platforms, because yes, I've been doing Facebook ads for years, and yes, I noticed the change, but I accumulated with it. And honestly, Facebook ads is not easier, it's not harder than it's not harder for me than it was a few years ago. In essence, yes, Facebook ads was easier 2, 3 years ago, but when you accumulate these new skills, if you actually grow together with it and you're actually aware of what's going on in the market, you won't really notice the difficulty. You'll just change your marketing angles. So with that being said, what I'm trying to say here is that now you just have to be a bit more skilled to compete. Okay, and that's what you're here for. People go into Facebook ads thinking that it's a push of a button. That you just put in a few budgets, you put some targeting, and then it's going to print out money. No, you have to learn it. It's a complex system, and don't worry. Hopefully, you will not have almost any questions after this entire program, because we're going to try to touch on as many things as possible. Me from Facebook ads, the other guys from e-commerce, funnels, influencers, you already know. So I'm here to basically give you that kick in the butt to get you more skilled and be on the level of the more highly skilled Facebook advertisers. And that's what's going to make you at least compete with with people that are running ads. Now, it doesn't mean that it's harder now, it just means that you have to learn a bit more. And it means that you actually have to develop a business mindset, which in my opinion is an advantage. Because if it was always as easy as just clicking a button and just like running ads without any actual skill involved or creativity involved, then everybody would do it. And if everybody would do it, it would become saturated, which, as you can see, it's more saturated than it was before. But that shouldn't stop you. It should actually push you forward, because now it filters out those that are too lazy to learn. Okay, now if you're not too lazy to learn and you're here for the long run, and trust me, there's a lot to be made, then you're in the right place. Another quick mention I want to make here is that Facebook ads is not a trend. Now, the reason I'm actually putting this out there is because a lot of people learn, like if it's students or even myself, right? We learn specific subjects or skills that just make us money for a short term, and then we move on to the next thing, usually trends. So, there was a trend of affiliate marketing in the past. There were a lot of like these mini trends. Even the Shopify, Facebook ads, AliExpress model is somewhat of a trend. It still works. We're still making money out of it, but it's different. Facebook ads is not a trend. It's not something that we're going to learn now, and then like 2 years, we're not going to use it anymore. That's why I want you to come into this mindset knowing that learning Facebook ads will not only help your e-commerce business, it's going to help leverage everything that you do. I've started off with Facebook ads, and now I own 4 companies. I own e-commerce stores, I own an education company, I own a marketing company, like advertising company, and we're producing a TV show. And I'm using the same skills that I learned from Facebook ads. I'm basically putting into these businesses, because Facebook ads teaches you something that is necessary for almost every business, due to the fact that a huge percentage of the world is actually on these channels, Facebook and Instagram. So knowing Facebook ads is actually a necessity if you want to have a successful business. Okay, Facebook ads is really one of the skills in the 21st century that you really want to master. If you're actually going into business like this. Now, obviously, if you're like a big CEO and you own a few companies, then you want to be efficient. So obviously, then you might want to get a Facebook advertiser for you. But I know most of you are not at that position where you own a few companies and you're making millions a year. You actually want to learn these skills. Like even me, even though I have about 5 to 7 media buyers that run ads for me, I'm still the one that's actually building the ads infrastructure, because of all of my skill that I know. It's the same with everything. It's basically like even a soccer coach, right? Most soccer coaches used to play soccer in the past, but eventually they stopped playing soccer, but now they coach. But if they didn't know how to play soccer, they couldn't really coach it. They couldn't coach efficiently. Same thing with Facebook ads, same thing with design, same thing with everything. If you know this, it will be easier for you eventually to outsource, and at least from the get-go to start making good money and to start really scaling your business. Facebook advertising is growing insanely fast, and really if you don't stay ahead of the game, your competition will literally outcompete you. This is why I really like suggest to be fully immersed in these programs, because this is what's going to take you ahead of that game. Okay, because if you are not consistent with the updates and you're not updated on what's going on and you don't learn new skills, in 2-3 months, you're going to die out, because that's just how the market works. Now, these fundamentals that you're going to learn, they're going to apply for years ahead. But that I don't want that to prevent you from actually staying updated on what's going on in the market, okay? And just to finish with this, every successful digital entrepreneur needs to know Facebook ads today. In my opinion, it's just a necessity. Knowing Facebook ads, knowing how to advertise in these social media channels, knowing that social media is literally the future, and we can see that is in my opinion the biggest opportunity and the biggest skill to learn. Because if we're not immersing ourselves into social media, then we're basically going to stay old school, and we're not going to move forward with the market.